as I said earlier, Chrissie is more than just a female jock who happened to have great athletic success. And she's buffed. I mean, she's buffed. But more on a serious note, I want Chrissie to talk to you about her background, in the sense that she didn't come from a great DNA of sport. She came by it almost by serendipity. She enjoyed sport, but the sport was kind of a stepping stone for other things in her life, which is education and the world around her, and how she can make a difference in not only her life, but potentially the lives of other people that she would meet along her journey. And life is about a journey, and I think Chrissie's journey is one that's pretty special in a very short amount of time, coming from relative unknown to an amateur world champion in 2006. Whoever heard of her, puppet from Great Britain, to all of a sudden 2007, and on it went. 13 Ironmans later, here she is. There she is. But more importantly, I'd like to have her tell you about her career, how she came to be what she is on the other side of herself, which is the inner part that people may not always get a chance to see. And you'll see in the book, I think, that really comes out. So, Chris, why don't you tell everybody what got you to where you really are inside yourself?
I'll try to keep it relatively brief, otherwise we'll be here all day and sunburn. But yeah, I mean, I was always a sporty kid. I love sport. I did lots of different sports, but I really never excelled in sport. My focus was always on channeling my driven, determined, anally obsessive personality into my studies. I really wanted to excel academically. That was very, very important to me. So sport was something I did because I enjoyed. It gave me an opportunity to be with my friends. I did it very, very recreationally and not to a high level at all. I went to university, and you should get on a bike, it'll be a lot less noisy. But yeah, I went to university. I drank for the university swimming team. But really, again, focused on, it took you a while, but you got there in the end. I focused on my studies. And it was after university that I went traveling. And I went traveling for 2 years. And that was a really defining moment for me. And I met this wonderful girl when I was in Africa, who you will read about, called Jude. And she said to me, Chrissie, look deep inside yourself and really work out what your true passion in life is. So I did just that, and I realized that my passion was international development. I've always been incredibly passionate about the issue. Not that I knew it as such growing up, I just knew it as wanting to affect positive change in the community in which I live. I think I drove my parents absolutely crazy trying to organize like trash collections and yard sales and things like that. But yeah, I've always been passionate about the world around me and trying to affect positive change and find the solutions to the many problems that afflict our world. So after traveling for 2 years, I came back, did my MA in International Development, and was really fortunate to get my dream job working as a policy advisor to the UK government on international development policy. It was a job that I loved, but I got quite disillusioned with working at politics at such a high level. I really wanted to experience development work on the ground. So I took a sabbatical and I went to live and work in Nepal, the amazing country of Nepal. The first thing I did when I got to Nepal was buy a mountain bike. Having not done a lot of riding at all prior to that, it was a total baptism of fire. And it was really my time in Nepal that made me realize that I had a talent for endurance sports, and that it was something I should explore. So when I wasn't working, I was cycling all over the Himalayas. We had an amazing trip. We cycled across the Himalayas, even via Everest Base Camp, from Lhasa in Tibet back to Kathmandu. Some phenomenal adventures, and I just really, really enjoyed pushing my mind and body to the limit. So when I got back to the UK in 2006, I thought, right, someone had introduced me to triathlon. I thought, I'll give this triathlon game a shot, not knowing where that shot would take me. So I entered the Redditch Super Sprint, which was neither super nor sprint-like. I borrowed a wetsuit, tried it on the day before, thought I got in the water, but I must have lost a whole heap of weight overnight because the wetsuit was far too baggy. So I get in the water, the wetsuit floods, I can't even lift my arms out of the water. I sink and have to get rescued by a kayaker. That was the end, so neither super or sprint-like. But the next race went well, and I qualified for the World Amateur Championships, which were in Lausanne in 2006. And much to my surprise, I managed to win that race. And, you know, we have different forks in the road in our life, and that was one. And it was then I had a really important decision to make, you know, whether or not to give up a job that I loved, working for the government, and to take a chance at professional triathlon. And I never want to look back and think what if, and we should all never look back and think what if. And it was a risk, becoming a professional triathlete. I didn't know whether I could make it my career. But like I said, I didn't want to be left wondering. And I think many of us can be immobilized by fear. We can be immobilized by fear of failure, fear of what we look like, fear of the unknown. And I often look back and think about what if I'd been immobilized by that fear of the unknown of becoming a professional athlete. And I look back and I'm so fortunate that I did look fear in the face and give up my job and throw myself into this amazing sport as a pro. And I do have to pinch myself now to think that I am four-time Ironman world champion. It's not something I ever envisaged happening in my life. But I guess if you were to take one message away from the book, and the thing that I've learned over this amazing 5-year journey, is that, as the title says or implies, you know, our limits are truly not where we think they are. And people often ask me, what's your racing highlight? What's the most defining moment of your career? And for me, it's a bit more general than that, but it's really defying anything that I ever thought was possible, because I set limits on myself. You know, I never thought that I could ever do 8:18 and an Ironman. I never thought I'd win four world championships. I never thought I'd win 13 races in a row. But, you know, as those barriers or boundaries or hurdles as I've approached them, they've kind of dissolved. And I think that's been the most empowering and enlightening thing of all. So if I was to encapsulate one message in the book, it would be that I think we can all defy what is possible and go out there and really live our lives to the full, whether it's in triathlon or otherwise. And that's a message I hope to impart, not just to the triathletes that read the book, but I really hope that the book finds its way into the hands of others that may not have even considered taking up our amazing sport, and encourage them to test themselves and live their lives to the full. So, like I said at the start, I really hope you enjoy reading the book as much as I enjoyed writing it. It was a difficult process, a very interesting process, an empowering process to write the book. I had to do some quite difficult kind of self-reflection and self-analysis, and as you'll probably realized, hopefully I've humanized myself so that you can all identify with me and realize that with a bit of hard work, drive, determination, anything really is possible. So thank you so much for coming out today. It really is a huge pleasure and a privilege to be here. My arm really hurts from holding this microphone. It's so heavy. I should hold it like this, and then maybe I'll be able to sign ambidextrously. Make my life so much easier. But yeah, no, thank you so much for coming out. I really, really do appreciate it. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to be here, and I mean that sincerely. My final word of thanks goes to the amazing Robert Vigrice. Please give him a round of applause. What he does for the Blaze Mountain Foundation means more to me than he can ever know. So thank you, Vigo, for all that you are.
Chrissie Wellington.